What is going on, everybody? It is your boy OG Dan. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be covering the basics of longboard wheels. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, before we talk about longboard wheels, I do want to quick address something. If you guys have been following the channel and watched the previous week's videos, I mentioned that today was actually going to be a review of the puzzle board, but unfortunately I have run into a few complications with that, so we're going to have to postpone the review for a little bit until I can resolve some issues. Anyways, let's get into this video. I'm not going to cover every itty bitty detail about wheels because there's a lot, so I'm going to leave a link in the description to a really great website that talks about all the little really detailed specific things if you need that. But for this video, I'm just going to cover three main things that I think are important for you to know as a buyer about longboard wheels. So those things are going to be the wheel size, the wheel durometer, and the wheel lip. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about some nice combinations of all three of these things that can work well for different styles of longboarding. But let's just start off by talking about the wheel size. So generally what I found is that longboard wheels range anywhere from 65mm to 100mm. So this number refers to the circumference of the wheel, not the width. The width is a little more detailed and not really necessary for this video. So just know that the millimeters is talking about the circumference of the wheel. So depending on the size of the wheel, you're going to have a plus and a minus. So for really large wheels, your plus is going to be it's going to have a higher top speed, but the minus is going to be that the acceleration is slower, which means that you have to push a lot more and use a lot more energy initially to get that top speed. Smaller wheels, on the other hand, are going to be the opposite. They're going to have a slower top speed, but they're also going to have a faster acceleration, so you don't have to push as much to get to that top speed. So these really big wheels, and I mean like 90mm to 100mm, they're typically used on electric skateboards. And the reason for that is because you don't actually need to worry about that initial acceleration because the motors of the board take care of that for you. So it's nice to have bigger wheels on those kind of boards because you don't have to worry about the acceleration so much and you get a higher top speed. Smaller wheels are typically more popular among dancing longboards because you typically don't need that super high top speed, but having a nice easy acceleration to get to the top speed is really helpful in those because you want to waste as little space getting to that top speed as possible. So for a general all-purpose wheel, I would kind of recommend going somewhere in the middle of these extremes. So for me, I would recommend maybe around 70 to 76mm, maybe even 80mm if you want, but this is going to be kind of the best of both worlds. So you get fairly fast wheel, fairly easy acceleration without either of the two extremes. So if you don't need the extremes for a specific purpose, I would go somewhere in the middle. My two absolute favorite wheels, one of them I have right next to me here, is the Orangutan Stimulus. These are 70mm. And my other current favorite wheel are the Shark Wheel 72mm. So those are the sizes I use if anyone wanted to know. But I do have slightly different ones that I like too. Like these ones on this Dinghy, they are also 72mm, but they are really wide. And width is really not something that you need to look into as a beginner. But if you want to check that article, I'm sure they have info on the width for more intermediate advanced riders. Alright, moving on to durometer of the wheels. So durometer is this term used to talk about a scale called the durometer scale, and this scale measures how hard the urethane of your wheel is. The term that they use is a number followed by the letter A, and the higher numbers mean that the wheels are going to be a harder urethane, and a lower number means softer wheels. Personally, for general all-purpose wheels, I would recommend somewhere between 83A and 86A because it's around the middle, but it's a little more on the harder side, which is kind of what I like using. But for different types of riding, I will say get harder wheels if you want to do more sliding in your boarding. Get softer wheels if you plan on only doing cruising, and I get something in between if you're going to do a lot of dancing. So harder wheels are easier to slide, but they don't absorb as much ground vibration, so they can be a little bumpy. Softer wheels are very smooth, but they're also really grippy, so they're really difficult to slide. And then somewhere in the middle, like I said, around 83, 86A, they're around what I would recommend for most people because you can still slide on them, but they still have a pretty good amount of grip also. And if you pair it with a really good vibration dampening board, it's going to feel really smooth also. So that's pretty much all you need to know about durometer, and now I'm going to talk about the lip of the wheel. So the lip being just this little edge around the wheel here. This is something that not a lot of people notice, but it's something that might be helpful if you're trying to go into a certain section of longboarding. So what I mean would be cruising, tricks, free ride, freestyle, something like that. Downhill. So first off, we have the square lip or just the flat lip. That's actually what these wheels right here have. And all it really is it's just the lip of the wheel is flat. It's just a straight edge across the wheel. And this makes the wheel really, really grippy, but it does wear down a little bit over time with use. But that's actually okay, because usually when you buy flat wheels brand new, they feel slightly too grippy. So you want them to wear down just a little bit, but these are really good wheels for cruising, possibly dancing, possibly sliding if they're really, really worn down, but I would leave these more towards cruising wheels, and they're going to be really good wheels on the softer end of the Durometer. The next type of lip is called the beveled lip. Now this lip isn't as flat as this one, it's almost like they just sanded off the edges, so it's a little more round. These wheels are still really grippy, but they're not as much as the flat-lipped wheels. And the nice thing about these lips is they actually don't wear down as fast as the flat-lipped wheels, so they last a little bit longer for how they were designed, which is really nice. And they're kind of a really good medium all-purpose wheel. The beveled lip wheels are kind of what the flat-lip wheels will look like after being really worn down, but these ones, as they wear down, they keep that beveled shape, so you can wear them down longer and still have them feel exactly the same as when you got them. And finally, we're going to talk about radius lips. There's not much to talk about here, but basically they're even more rounded than the beveled lip. They're just completely rounded. And these are meant a lot for harder wheels for sliding, because when you don't have the flat lip, it takes away a lot of that grip and makes it really easy to push right into slides. So a lot of downhill boards you'll see having radius lips. Alright, and those are kind of the main 3 things you need to know about the wheels. And now I'm just going to break down 3 combinations I think would be useful in wheels. And then I will leave links in the description to types of wheels in those combinations that I think you guys would enjoy. So let's start off with the first one. This would be a medium-sized lower Durometer wheel with square or beveled lips. These wheels would be perfect for somebody looking for an all-purpose, really good wheel for mainly meant for cruising, but that will be able to delve into other genres of longboarding slightly, just not as good. These will be really fast, really responsive. You can pull out a couple slides with them, do a little dancing, but mainly the main focus of these would be cruising. The next one would be really large sized low Durometer wheels with, again, square beveled lips. These would be great for electric boards if you're going to build a DIY one or you needed to buy replacement wheels for an e-board, because they don't require that initial exertion from you to get the acceleration, and they give you a higher top speed overall. And lastly, another good combination would be medium Durometer wheels with beveled or radius lip. These would be really good for serious longboard dancers, maybe downhill boarders if you were on really smooth roads. These are going to be really, really easy to slide, but still grippy enough to hold your board in place. And they're not going to be hard to the point where you're going to feel every bump in the road, but they're still going to be hard enough to have those nice slides. These are really what dancing boards look for, because a lot of the dancing tricks involve pivots, other sorts of maneuvers that resemble slides, but they're kind of like quick mini slides. But I would only recommend getting that type of wheel if you were specifically wanting to do dancing, because they don't really work so well for the other genres. Well, that's pretty much all I got to talk about for today, guys. Hope you learned something new and enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate you hitting the like button. And if you really like the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Maybe if you want with the post notifications, I don't know. Anyways, it's been your boy OG Den. Make sure to check the article out in the description for more data. I'm signing off for the day. I'll see you guys on Saturday for a new vlog video. Peace out. See you guys later.